Yamaha impressed us last year with the YZF R3, their new little sports bike. So we were delighted when they offered us the MT03 to test, the new naked bike in the new massive torque range. Now, the MT range is all geared around making bikes nicer to ride because they've got more torque rather than horsepower. So the idea behind that is it makes bikes easier to get off the line, much better for overtaking, and more fun in the twisties because they're easier to ride. And in a learner, commuter and recreational rider machine like this little MT03, that's a great formula. Of course, the MT03 is not going to offer the performance of its bigger brethren, but it does offer a decent turn of speed, decent acceleration, and it will cruise on the highway speed limit without any real trouble at all. So it's a great combination of factors that make this learner machine one you should really take a look at and get a test ride on. One big highlight of the MT03 is the ABS brakes. So you've got discs at each end and the anti-lock braking system, which I think is fantastic to see as a standard feature on a machine aimed at learners and young riders, because it makes stopping more about pulling up and less about panicking and getting that technique right. You can just literally mash the brakes and they won't lock, and you'll get good deceleration and it helps you avoid accidents. So the MT03's riding position is a fairly natural upright, slightly sporty position. So you do lean forward a little bit into the handlebars and the foot pegs are a little bit rear set. So it's a sporty riding position without being uncomfortable at all. It lets you have a good view of the traffic because you're sitting up, but it still gives you that good feel in what the tyres are doing and what the brakes are doing because you're leaning forward that little bit into the breeze. It also makes a naked bike that bit more comfortable when you're doing highway speeds. Now you might think that a 321cc naked bike might be a bit cramped for taller riders, but I'm 185 centimetres tall and I found it absolutely fine. In fact, our 194 centimetre office gorilla, Ryan, he said it was fine as well. And Dennis, who we often lose in the long grass, actually could still get his feet firmly on the ground. So he's a little tiny little bloke. So it does seem to fit a lot of people, very well, and you really need to throw your leg over one and you'll be surprised at how easy it is to manoeuvre around and how easy it is to get your feet on the ground, and yet, for taller riders, still quite comfortable and quite easy to ride. I'm sure many learners won't care about the carburised conrods, forged pistons, 4-valve head and fuel injection, but they will care about what those things add up to. A really nice ride with predictable power delivery and spirited performance for the bike's class. Now you're wondering what's wrong with this bike, aren't you? All small capacity bikes have some compromises. It just goes with the nature of the beast. And I have to say the suspension's not the best in the world. It's also not very adjustable. There's a little bit on the rear, but not much. So you sort of have to deal with what you get. But it's okay. And if you do want to improve the performance of the machine, you could get someone to have a look at that suspension. And you could also throw some sticky tyres at it. But I think the thing that would make it most delightful of all would be a more free-flowing exhaust system. So I'd be having a look at the Acropovic systems that Yamaha has developed in conjunction with that company. You can get a slip-on muffler or a full system, and I think they'd make it sound better. I think they'd make the whole bike perform a little bit better because they're a little bit lighter, and they might make it breathe a little bit better as well, which would increase your performance a little bit and make that engine, twin-cylinder engine, just rev that little bit better as well. Bikes like the MT03 don't have any luggage capacity either. So adding a tank bag, and Yamaha's got an optional one, and there's also plenty from third-party providers, will give you some luggage capacity as well, just to carry that little bit of gear around, which is awesome for when you want to use it for commuting. So what we've got here is a really easy to ride, comfortable bike that in Australia sells for $5,699, and I think that's an absolute bargain. If you wanted to add a few bits and pieces like the tank bag and the Acropovic, it's still not going to break the bank. The fuel consumption's excellent, so it's not going to cost you a fortune to own. It's good looking, available in 3 colours, and you can get a test ride at your Yamaha dealer, and I highly recommend you do if this is the sort of machine you're after.
To find out more, you need to read the full test, which is featured in the July issue of Cycle Talk magazine, available through the links in the description. Thanks for watching.